Bob, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm excited to talk to you about this topic because I think a lot of families definitely want to get this right. Transportation, behind housing and food is usually one of the bigger expenses they have to deal with. So I know they want to make sure that when they buy a car that they're getting the best deal. And you are the guy to talk to. You are working at Coastal Credit Union, and could you kind of describe what you do at Coastal?
Yes. So I run the indirect auto underwriting department,
Hmm.
which is we're the group that if you go into a car dealership and buy a
Yeah.
car and the dealership sends the application over to us, my team is the team that looks at it and makes a credit decision. And then the dealership will take that package it up,
Hmm.
send it to us, and we'll get it processed, funded, and you become a member if you're not already, and we service the loan.
I think this is great because a lot of people have questions when you're buying a car. You want to get the best deal, and they feel like, I feel embarrassed to ask about this. But this is something that many families deal with. But I kind of want to break this down step by step. And the first step is research, finding the best car for you and your family and what you're going to be using it for. I know for us, we use sites like Consumer Reports, Car Gurus to get, a general idea of what's reliable and what price we should expect. Are there any sites or resources you would recommend for a family that's trying to find the best deal on a car?
So the best deal on a car is a car
Mhm.
that you're not going to have to put a lot of money into after you own it as well. That's
Exactly.
something that people need to consider. JD Power does a good report where they look
Mhm.
at reliability 5 years out.
Yeah.
So that's a great resource. They just tell you the truth about which cars are going to perform, historically have performed, and
Mhm.
I would use that. Now, if you're only planning on leasing a car or only having it for 3 years or 2 years, maybe it's not as important
Mhm.
about the reliability, but then you have to worry about resale. So reliability equals higher resale value. So even if it's something that you're not going to keep, you want to be able to get your money back out of it if you're going to sell it. Carfax is another
Mhm.
source. You can key in the VIN of the car. It'll tell you how many people have owned the car, if it was ever commercially insured, if it's been in any accidents. It's
Mhm.
not 100%, it's not infallible, but they do have a guarantee. Those two resources they're great.
Yeah, and I will second getting Carfax. I know when we were looking for cars, that's one of the things that we check, the Carfax. And I was surprised there was an instance, we did not buy the car, where the seller lied about it. And then we had looked it up on Carfax and they said they were the only owner of the car. It was in perfect condition. And that's not what the Carfax showed. So even though you hope to get it from someone trustworthy, doing that extra research can definitely protect you from a big headache down the road. But I remember back in the day when I bought my first car and I used financing to do that, and I did it completely wrong, Bob. I was not prepared. I really didn't know what the numbers were. So for a couple or a family that want to do it the right way, they decide, we're going to put a good down payment, but we're going to finance the rest. How would they go about, like, what's the process of financing it? Say if they are a Coastal member.
So you want to know where you stand
Mhm.
financially,
Yeah.
credit wise. It's wise to go ahead and check your credit report, make sure there's nothing on there that you didn't know was there, a collection item that may have gotten by you, a medical collection, or something
Hmm.
that's not even tied to you whatsoever. So you want to make sure those things don't exist.
Hmm.
Um, and then if you can, go ahead and communicate with your credit union, see what rate you qualify for, and use that as a bargaining chip when you go into the dealership.
Hmm.
A lot of times they'll say, this is the best interest rate I can give you today. And you
Hmm.
can look at them and say, well, actually, I've got my own interest rate right here because I went ahead and got pre-approved.
Smart.
So having that knowledge is king in any kind of negotiating. Um, so again, get
Hmm.
pre-qualified. They may even have a better rate for you. Sometimes if you're buying a new car, the
Hmm.
manufacturers will have tremendous rates because it's in their interest to push those new cars out.
Yeah.
So, Toyota might have good rates, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and those are paid. The manufacturer will actually funnel some money over to the finance side in order to get that great rate. So sometimes we're not the lowest. We try to be,
Hmm.
but sometimes they have those subvented rates, is what they're called, that you actually qualify for a better interest rate. And all the power to you, because money you don't spend on interest is more money in your pocket.
Yeah, I think that is key. Like I said, I had done it wrong. I was a working college student at the time, and I went in there and I didn't even check with the bank I was with at that time. And so I was basically at the mercy of the dealership. And they said, this is the best rate you could get. I had to get a cosigner. It was a mess. So I appreciate you kind of breaking it down. So when you go, like, say you're shopping around and I'm currently a Coastal member. Is there a hit to my credit, or is my credit score affected if I'm shopping around for rates during that period? Or is there something I need to be aware of during the process?
So you want to be careful every time you go into a car dealership to take a test drive.
Hmm.
Let them know that you're not looking to buy that day. Just say, look,
Oh, okay.
I'm not here to buy. I'm here looking for a car and I'm looking for the best deal.
Hmm.
If they demand that you fill out a credit application, you just say, look, I'm not into that.
Hmm.
I'll walk if I have to. Don't be afraid to walk. There's every car dealer, car make imaginable in this area. You can go somewhere else. So you just want to let them know I'm here to look. I'm not here to buy.
Yeah.
Now, if you treat me right and you have a great product, I may come back to you, and I probably would come back to you. And just let them know up front. Now, the thing to remember is salespeople at these dealerships, they are there to make money, and
Yeah.
most of them aren't paid uh, on how much money is made on a car.
Hmm.
They're looking for how many cars they can sell in a period of time.
Oh,
Usually it's
okay.
a month. Sometimes they'll have a fast start to the month and they
Hmm.
want a bunch of cars out by the 15th and they get a little extra bonus. So, but if you're honest with them, they'll
Hmm.
hook you up with the right salesperson who likes to take the time to make that relationship rather than just going for the quantity over quality. The other thing is, if you're buying a new car,
Hmm.
they have these surveys that they have to score well on in order to maximize their money from the
Oh.
manufacturer. So you should get treated well. If you're not
Hmm.
getting treated well, you have the opportunity to take it out on them in a survey. So you let them know,
Hmm.
if you treat me well, I'll treat you well on your survey. And that's going to strike a chord with them right there.
Yeah.
So you move on and you find the car you like. Uh, don't buy that day. I need you to go
Mm.
home, think about it, think long and hard about it, because you're about to drop a bunch of money
Yeah.
on something that's going to depreciate very quickly.
Hmm.
I remember hearing Clark Howard years ago said that you'd have to have a new car for 12 years in order to get your money back out of it.
Wow.
So it's important that you find a car that's going to last for 12 years. It's important that you find a car that you're going to be able to maintain for 12 years.
Hmm.
And then it's important that you really like your car and you like giving up all that money. Uh, I tell you, if you have a car that runs
Hmm.
and and it's reliable, hold on to it.
Hmm.
Drive it as long as you can. So, but for the rest of this, we'll just talk about if you have to buy a car,
Yeah.
what you do. So you go home and you think about it, and
Hmm.
then this is what I would do. I would start negotiating with the car dealership online. It's a lot easier
Oh.
to negotiate. You know, your computer is small. Some of
Yeah.
these sales managers and salespeople are big people and they stand over you and try to intimidate you or tell you about how their kid's dog just died and all this stuff. You
Hmm.
know, you don't have to put up with that online. You're just, it's very basic. This is what I want. What's the best price you can get me at? And then you go to TrueCar. Dealers hate TrueCar. I was at a convention a
Oh.
couple of years ago and there was a TrueCar booth there. It was a digital dealer conference. So this was all the high tech stuff all over the country that all
Hmm.
came to Tampa, Florida for this conference. And nobody was going to visit TrueCar because
Wow.
car dealers hate TrueCar. Because what you do is you let TrueCar know what you're looking for and they
Hmm.
actually farm it out to all their participating dealers and they cut each other down to nothing. So they're losing money
Mm.
on that. Yeah.
Oh, this is great stuff. I know one of the debates, of course, you're talking about, drive the car almost to the ground, but say you do have some life in it. There's that debate like, should I do a trade in or am I better off selling myself? What do you think would be typically a better deal for someone who's trying to replace their car or buy another car?
So there is so many scams out there for
Mm-hmm.
people buying cars um, from individuals
Mm-hmm.
and scooting off with their money and the title. If you're going to sell to somebody, you got to do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
I would have the transaction done at a bank. I would have the title with you. I'm not a big fan of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
More times than I would like to admit, we get tied up in some fraud schemes here where we're
Mm-hmm.
having to help a member out that did something that somebody really put one over on them. So CarMax is a great avenue. In our market, we have some other dealerships that will actually beat CarMax prices. But you go to CarMax and you look at them and you say, I just want to sell my car. And it really doesn't matter what shape the car is in. Okay. They'll put
Okay.
an offer in on it. And then you can actually take that if you want to take it for the trade and use that as a negotiating tool.
Gotcha.
When you go to the dealership. So you walk in, you say, how much you give me for my trade? And they say, I'll give you $1,000. And then you pull out of your purse. Well, CarMax already told me they'd give me $1,300. Can you beat that, or should I just take it to CarMax? More often than not, they'll take it.
Okay.
Because they know that CarMax is doing what they know they can get for the car when they have to liquidate it and make nothing on it. So that's what I would do. If it were me,
Yeah.
I would use those resources.
Gotcha. And I like how you pointed out, like, you can do the transaction at the credit union. And also another good reason to talk, to see your options, especially if you're a member of Coastal, financing and just understanding what your options are for buying a car. Now, I know whether it's, deserved or not, a lot of people are apprehensive about a dealership because they feel they're going to get like one over them. They're going to either get a bad deal, they're going to get stuck with fees. Are there any traps or sneaky things that you've noticed when going to a dealership that buyers should be aware of, or any, you see this long list of fees, anything they should review and talk over before they go to the dealership?
So you'll have a title fee. Title fees are 100% accurate. That's what the dealership is being charged by the DMV.
Okay.
Same for the tax. The tax is what it is. You're not going to get around those. The documentation fee, that's the one that everybody always jumps up and screams. Sales and dealerships don't make a lot of money. Not on new cars. New cars, it's very much bottom price, just trying to get out of their inventory.
Yeah.
And where dealerships make money is in service. So is maintaining your vehicle. Cars are extremely complicated now. They're complex. To fix a heater in a car, do this. Look up photos for fixing a heater in a car. And literally, the entire car is just dismantled from the inside out. And if you can imagine the labor involved in doing that. I have a guy who works for me 2 weeks ago, had to replace a light bulb in his headlamp. It was 3 hours of labor because the front bumper had to be removed.
Wow.
It's all those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing simple about a car anymore. So the documentation fee, let me get back to that. That is a fee that they have designated that they're going to charge every customer who walks in the store.
Okay.
You'd be hard pressed to not find a dealership that has that. Basically, what that is the bare minimum that they're charging to keep their front end operation open. There just isn't a lot of profit in new car sales. Used car sales, totally different story. You get a used car in, and this is more of a price topic, but you get a used car in and you're at a dealership. First thing you have to do is you have to take that car, however you obtain the car, whether it was at an auction or from a direct seller, you have to run it through your shop. You have to make sure that you're not selling something that, is all duct taped together and it shouldn't be on the road. Remember, that dealer is putting their name on that they're putting it out to the public. They don't want that. They don't want any bad units out there. So they get that car in, and that shop bill can be anywhere from $200 to $300. uh,
Oh, okay.
all the way up to, I think $1,800 was the reconditioning, average reconditioning on a dealership that I checked with
Really? Wow.
last week when I was preparing for this.
Hmm.
So you see, I mean, by the time you put new tires,
Hmm.
verify everything is up and running, brakes, it can get pretty expensive. So when you think you've got that great deal on a used car, the thing you have to think is, well, how did they get such a great deal on it? That's when you want to start looking at the tires. You want to
Hmm.
definitely make sure you take it to your mechanic to ensure that it was maintained properly, that it
Hmm.
was reconditioned properly. If there's a dent on the fender,
Hmm.
who cares? You bought a used car.
Yeah.
That's not what you should be concerned about. A couple of scratches here and there, it's fine if the dealer fixes it for you, but what you need to worry about is what's going on under the hood. So
Yes.
new cars come with a warranty.
Hmm.
You're going to have that. Warranties are awesome, but you can never buy an aftermarket warranty. That's a misnomer.
Mm.
There's service contracts. The only warranty that you ever get is from the manufacturer, but you can buy a service contract.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk about like the warranties and the service contracts because, like you mentioned, we do want this to last forever. And this is going to be a significant purchase. So, is it a good deal to go with the extended warranty or whatever the service contract that they offer at the dealership? Or what are some things couples and families should consider before saying yes to them?
Yeah, so this gets really complex.
Okay.
Um, if you're buying a new car and you don't know how long you're going to keep it,
Mm-hmm.
I would advise not buying a warranty. There
Mm.
are aftermarket warranties that you can purchase.
Okay.
So you don't have to buy them from the dealership at the time of purchase. If you decide 3 years in that you're going to keep this one for the long haul, you
Mm-hmm.
love it, you can go back to the dealership and buy a warranty or an extended service contract.
Okay.
So, but if I'm buying a used car
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know who drove it before me, I don't know what part of the country it was from, I'm really going to consider that used car warranty or service contract.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So here's the thing.
Go
When you're
ahead.
buying a service contract from a dealership, you're buying a used car. We're going to go off the used car example.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm buying a used car and this car has 50,000 miles on it. It's 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the dealership is saying, I want to sell you a warranty. Well, the first thing you want to do, and this is so critically important,
Yeah.
you want to look at that dealer and you want to say, I want a used car warranty.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, well, no, I can put you on a new car warranty. Nope. You want a used car warranty. The difference is a new car warranty, actually, the warranty date and mileage starts from the very moment that car was sold to its first owner.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
were to buy, if you were to buy a 6 year, 75,000 mile warranty, that would end when that 6 year period is up from the date of the first person buying it, or
Mm.
75,000 miles, which you're only 35,000 miles away from. So if you buy a
Gotcha. Okay.
used car warranty and it's a 6 year, 75,000 mile warranty, a used car warranty starts on that date and goes 75,000 miles from the mileage of the time you purchase it, at the time you
Mm.
purchase it. So it is nuance, but it's
Mhm.
important. If you're buying a used car, get a used car warranty or service contract.
Yeah.
So remember that.
I would have never thought to even ask for that. I didn't know there was that option. So thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Bob. You've done an incredible job with breaking down just the process of buying a car and if you decide to get it financed, like how that works. Key takeaway I got from here is like do your research, do the work up front. Don't rush to buy. I know dealers do a great job of like, hey, get in the car and you fall in love with it. But is there any other tip you would advise couples or families that are looking to buy a car this new year?
My first advice would be if
Mm-hmm.
you have a car that's running, keep it. Keep it, drive it as long as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But if you absolutely have to have a car,
Mm-hmm.
do your research, just like you said. Get your financing lined up ahead of time. Use that as negotiating. Uh, Go out, drive a bunch of different makes and models. review the 5-year reliability ratings,
Mm.
do all that stuff, and don't settle for the high pressure tactics. You don't have to. If somebody's doing that to you, you got to just get up and walk.
Yeah. I've been there. First time I fell for it. The next time I've learned my lesson. So that's great advice. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate you taking the time and really making this process a lot less stressful. I hope you have a wonderful day.